These Philadelphia Eagles players are ready to explode in 2026. From the NFL's next superstar wide receiver to several young rising stars on defense, a group of exciting pass rushers, a couple underrated weapons on offense, and perhaps the most disrespected man in the NFL, the Birds have a ton of guys who are set to take a major leap in 2026, whether that means simply improving from last season, making their first Pro Bowl, or having a bona fide breakout season. So let's count down 11 Eagles who are ready to level up in 2026, and we're starting right now. So Eagles training camp is right around the corner, and with that, the countdown to the 2026 NFL season will have officially begun, and I'm freaking fired up for it, man, I gotta say.
Start your engine!
That September 13th home opener against Washington cannot come soon enough, but while that's still a ways away, camp is really where it all starts, and there are going to be tons of wild storylines to follow, whether it's camp competitions, injuries, standouts from practice, or new changes coming on either side of the ball. There's going to be a lot to talk about, so make sure you guys are subscribed and you have notifications turned on, that way you don't miss any of the training camp coverage or content that I got coming. In the meantime, though, I can't help but think about all the Eagles players that I'm expecting to take a huge leap forward this upcoming season. And that started when I stumbled across this NBC Sports Philadelphia article written by Dave Zangaro, where he lists 5 Eagles players that are set to make a Pro Bowl jump this year. And first up on that list is none other than the new wide receiver 1, DeVonta Smith, which that should not surprise anyone, and I personally could not agree more. I mean, we've talked about it all offseason, probably more than any other player. I am expecting a huge, breakout, explosive year from DeVonta Smith, and that's for multiple reasons. Number one, he's wide receiver 1 now. Like, there's no more skinny Batman, swole Batman, fat Batman. It's just the Batman. Smitty is the Batman now, and he's about to go off, give him more targets and opportunities. Especially since, one, last year, I think Smitty was already better than A.J. Brown. I mean, I said what I said. It's the truth, and some of the plays that he was making last year were just absolutely unreal. But then on top of that, this new offense that Sean Mannion is installing is going to be absolutely perfect for DeVonta Smith's skill set, because it's really going to play into his strengths, you know, those being his elite route running, his ability to separate, his ability to operate from any area on the field. Like, no question, this new offense with more motion, more misdirection, more routes across the middle of the field, and just a more diverse route tree in general is going to unleash DeVonta Smith. And again, given more targets, he's gonna go off. Like in 2022, he had by far a career high 136 targets, and he went for almost 1,200 yards. But this year, I'd expect more targets as the wide receiver 1 in this new offense. So I think Smitty's in store for 1,300 plus yards and a Pro Bowl selection, and opposing DBs are gonna hate to see him in 2026. Next up on the list, we have Jordan Mailata, and this is an interesting one because, you know, Milada is already clearly one of the best tackles in football, and he has been for some time now. In fact, in 2024, he was a second-team All-Pro, and some people even considered him the best tackle in all of football that year. However, he has still never made a Pro Bowl somehow, which is insane, and this article is obviously simply talking about just earning that first Pro Bowl selection, hence his inclusion on the list. Now, last year, I do think Mailata took a little bit of a step back from the year prior, probably partially as a result of the offense being bad as a whole, and Landon Dickerson also being banged up, who of course plays right next to him. But still, Mailata is very good, and I could definitely see this year being the year that he finally gets that selection, assuming the Eagles offense gets back on track under Sean Mannion, and the rest of the O-line is healthy. The big question, though, is going to be how does he adjust to this new scheme along with the rest of the O-line? Because, you know, this is going to be very different from everything that Milada has learned his whole career under Jeff Stoutland. It's an entirely new system, entirely new philosophy on the offensive line, entirely new run game, and now we've got Chris Cooper in here. So, you know, things have definitely drastically changed, but Milada is very talented. You know, he's going to figure it out, and I could definitely see him making the Pro Bowl this season. So, not necessarily a quote-unquote breakout candidate for this season, but he could finally get that specific honor.
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body?
Going from one Jordan to another, though, we have the big defensive tackle Jordan Davis, and this is a guy who, in my opinion, definitely should have gotten it last year, and not to be disrespectful to Jalen Carter, who did make the cut for the Pro Bowl, but JD had the better season. I definitely think it should have been him instead of Carter, but hey, like, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, the Pro Bowl is stupid, let's be real. It's oftentimes just a popularity contest. So I feel similarly about Davis as I did for Mailata. Like, the guy's already a star. He had his awesome breakout year last year, and I could definitely see him getting even better this season. You know, maybe a couple more sacks to go along with all the other amazing things that he does in the run game and just blowing up plays behind the line of scrimmage and eating up double teams and helping the other guys on the defensive line and the linebackers flourish. But, you know, whether he makes it to the Pro Bowl or not, I am expecting even bigger things from Jordan Davis than we got last year, which is crazy because at this point, like, he's already arrived, you know? He got the big contract, and he's one of the clear leaders of this football team, but, you know, he's clearly a very hard worker and a very high character guy, which that's what's helped him to continue getting better year after year after year in the first place, and I only expect that to continue for Jordan Davis moving forward.
Yeah, trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better, hit it dead center, bullseye.
Next up on the list, though, is Dallas Goedert, and I think this is maybe the sneakiest one on the list so far, because not many people are really talking about Goedert, as per usual, because, you know, he's always a guy that's underrated, under-discussed, and underappreciated, and it does make sense, because, you know, all the weapons around him, like, he tends to be the forgotten man, just because of all the other talent the Birds have had on offense, and, you know, that's why I'm going to continue to say that Goedert is the most underrated Eagle of this current era.
And you can take that to the bank.
Why I think Goedert could make a huge leap this year, though, is because with no more A.J. Brown and in an offense that really values and utilizes the tight end position, I'm expecting Goedert to get a lot more opportunities than he typically does. In fact, as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to finish this season as the Eagles' second leading receiver behind DeVonta Smith. And last year, don't forget, he already had a career high and Eagles record for a single season with 11 touchdown catches. And I could see similar production there this year, but in terms of just overall usage, catches, yards, I expect that to go way up, and look for Goedert to be a consistent weapon in the play-action game and on bootlegs in this new offense, and just overall as a weapon and safety blanket in the middle of the field for Jalen Hurts. And then lastly on this list, we have the fan favorite and edge rusher Jalyx Hunt. And again, this is another one that I completely and totally agree with. I mean, I've been hyping up Hunt all offseason long because with what I can see, we're talking about a guy that came in as a rookie in 2024 with no expectations, was expected to be a long-term project, but by the playoffs that year, he was making legit contributions to the defense, and then last year, he broke out to lead the team in sacks with 6.5 and in interceptions with 3. So, I mean, the guy's upward trajectory so far in the NFL has just been insane, and this offseason, he already was making a ton of noise in spring practices. Also, his athleticism and potential is just off the charts. So, I don't know, man. I got really high hopes for Jalyx Hunt, and if he continues improving at the rate that he has over his first 2 seasons, I could definitely see, you know, 8, 9, 10 plus sacks for him this season, and maybe a Pro Bowl appearance. Now, that said, that's all the players on Zangaro's list, but there are definitely some other guys that I still could see taking major leaps this upcoming season. And since we were just talking about edge rusher, how about Nolan Smith? I mean, this is a guy that, sure, he's coming off, I guess, a more down season where he didn't have the sack numbers that he would have hoped for, you know, only 3, and he was dealing with injuries. But that said, his pressure rate was still good at 16.3%, and Nolan's also a very good run defender out on the edge. Plus, let's also not forget that in 2024, Nolan had 6.5 sacks in the regular season. He really heated up at the end of that season and in the playoffs, and he had 4 sacks in that postseason. I mean, really for the last half of that entire season, playoffs included, he was probably that Super Bowl defense's best pass rusher. So, you know, Nolan Smith's got it in him. He's just got to stay healthy and put it all together for a whole season. And that battle between him and Jalyx Hunt this season is going to be really interesting because, you know, both guys are fighting to earn contracts next offseason. Again, I think both could be in for big seasons. So it's going to be really interesting to see who makes a better case throughout the entire year.
We're still friends, right?
Depends on how hard you hit me.
Staying out on the edge, though, I gotta mention Jonathan Greenard because, you know, he's coming off a down season for his standards where he was banged up with injuries and he only ended up with 3 sacks, but despite that, he still had an impressive 47 pressures and great pass rush win rate of 23.3%. So he can still play. Like, he's been one of the NFL's best at being around the quarterback the past 3 seasons. He's got to finish more this year, plain and simple. But, you know, I've said it all offseason. I expect him to lead the Eagles defense in sacks this year and get back to to around his 2023 and 2024 totals of 12 plus sacks, especially now that he's on a defensive line with just so much talent around him. I mean, you got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Jalyx Hunt, Moro Jomo. These other guys, especially JC and JD, are going to take up so much attention, and that's going to free up a lot more one-on-one opportunities for Jonathan Greenard, and I expect him to take advantage of those, so I see a big year coming for Greenard. And I also see a big year coming for the Birds' second-year linebacker, Jihaad Campbell. You know, he was really impressive as a rookie last season, even in limited playing time. At the beginning of the season, he was starting, and he was in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and now he gets to step into a full-time starting role with Nakobe Dean gone, and given a full offseason to just get fully healthy and develop in general, I am expecting big things from Jihaad Campbell this season. I mean, we're talking about a guy that as a rookie was 4th among all linebackers in coverage grade last season, which is just crazy.
Hey, that's pretty good.
No doubt in my mind, Jihaad Campbell is poised for a huge leap this season. Of the guys that I've mentioned so far, honestly, he's probably up there towards the top of the list with DeVonta Smith and Jalyx Hunt as guys that I'm expecting to just absolutely take off this season. I mean, Campbell was one of the best prospects in that entire 2025 draft. The Eagles got him late in the first round. He's extremely talented. He's got the potential to be a perennial Pro Bowler, so I'm expecting him to at least get close to that this season. But Campbell's fellow second-year player, Andrew Mukuba, is also right up there on the list as well, as the safety out of Texas is set to be the Birds' top safety this season, and while his rookie year was a little up and down at times, like Vic Fangio said during OTAs, Mukuba really did start to come on more in the second half of the year. You know, he was getting better and better before he got injured, he was making less mistakes, and just all season long, he was flashing some crazy potential. I mean, in that Week 2 game, for example, against the Chiefs, he had some really big plays, like that pick in the end zone being a great example of it, and overall, I love the way he plays. You know, Mukuba's physical, he plays fast, he gets downhill, he's not afraid to lay a big hit, and he's already pretty good against the run. Now, his coverage last year wasn't great, but again, he got better as the season went along, and his coverage ability in college was nothing short of elite. So, you know, he's got it in him. He's just got to put it all together this year, and I think he can do it because, you know, he's had time to recover from his ankle injury. He's back to full health now. He's had this offseason to just learn more and develop. And again, in this new role, I'm expecting big things from Andrew Mukuba, who I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think he's an absolute dog.
You know what they got? They some dogs. You know why?
And speaking of dogs, how about Tank Bigsby? As the Birds running back number 2 has been training hard all offseason long, he actually just dropped this workout video on his social media, and I think he's another guy bound to make a big leap this year. I mean, last year when Bigsby got opportunities to touch the ball, pretty much only good things happened, and he brings a different dynamic than Saquon Barkley does with his power and explosive one-cut running style, which, by the way, as we've talked about before, that fits very well with Sean Mannion's new offense. Bigsby also apparently looks a little faster and more explosive this offseason, specifically during OTAs and minicamp than he did last year, and I think the expectation is that he's set to be used more frequently than he was used by Kevin Patullo last year, who, for whatever reason, Patullo often sidelined Bigsby and barely put him out there, but I expect Sean Mannion to take way more advantage of Bigsby and his skill set this year, hence why I think he's in for a leap this season, so just cannot wait to watch him. But there is perhaps nobody that I'm more excited to watch this season than Jalen Hurts, because as per usual, everybody's got something to say about QB1. You know, everyone's got opinions, and he has been blatantly disrespected so many times this offseason, but if you've watched Jalen Hurts his entire football career, you know that all he does is prove the doubters wrong and win football games, and that's exactly what I'm expecting coming from him this year. Now, he didn't have his greatest season last year, no doubt about that, but he also wasn't horrible like a lot of people are acting like he was. I mean, over 3,200 yards, 33 total touchdowns to just 10 total turnovers. In Kevin Patullo's atrocious offensive scheme, that's honestly not that bad, but now in Sean Mannion's scheme, I am expecting Jalen Hurts to get back to 2022 levels of passing, maybe even better. I mean, will there be growing pains? Yes, almost certainly, but once he gets into flow and if this offense is clicking and he's comfortable, I think they're going to be really, really hard to stop, and I think Jalen specifically is going to look just about as good as he's ever looked. So again, I absolutely cannot wait to watch that. That said, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts about this list. Is there anyone that I left out that you would have included? Is there anybody that I put on the list that you wouldn't have? Just, what are your thoughts on this list? Give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my training camp coverage that I got coming. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button because that helps me out a ton as well. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today. That would be greatly appreciated. And also, hit the hype button too because that helps me out a ton as well. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this one out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.